Well, it's not, obviously he doesn't qualify, right? He's not looking. All right? Now, every once in a while, you'll get somebody to say, yeah, there's a guy there that's really ambitious, really like to make some good money. Here, let me give you his name. All right? And I've had people give me referrals. I take the referrals. I say, well, I'll tell you what, if the things work out, I'll be sure to mention your name because he'll want to thank you. Okay? And that's the reason I do that is to give him another chance. And it's amazing. He'll say, well, okay, yeah, you tell him I sent you. All right? And then every once in a while, as a matter of fact, quite often, the guy he'll say, yeah, me, I'd be interested, what's it all about? Or he'll start asking questions about it. Okay? And again, when I'm talking to somebody and he starts asking questions, I put one foot back and my hand up and say, well, wait a second. Are we talking about you or are we talking about somebody that you're going to refer this information to? And he'll say, well, no, me. Or he'll say, well, I'm just finding out for a friend. I'll say, I'll tell you what. Why don't I just tell your friend? That way we don't lose anything in the translation. He said, well, I'd like to know too. I said, well, okay. Then rather than just talk about it here on the street, I think it's a little bit more important than that. When we're talking about something that's mutually beneficial for both of us, I think we ought to sit down and talk about it. And I might do it on the spot. It's according to what my timing is. I might do it later. It's just like, for example, I've made contacts in just about every different type of outfit that can be worn. Everything from a bathing suit and shorts to suits to casual clothes to blue jeans to work clothes. I used to make contacts in a red and white striped shirt with a little bow tie and a plastic derby. I don't get hung up on that. See, the challenge is you are the challenge. All right? When you think to yourself, well, I'm not dressed right, or I'm not this right, or my hair isn't combed right, you don't make the contact. It's not that people won't accept you. You have to realize that you is what's inside. It doesn't make any difference how you look at the particular time. I travel around the world. When I get into an airplane and I'm going a long distance, I go right back to the bathroom, and I change into shorts or something very comfortable. All right? I was flying to Australia this last winter, and I'm in just a regular pair of shorts and a T-shirt that said Maui Yacht Club on it, and and no shoes. Took my shoes off. I'm running around the airplane, one of these big DC whatever 10s I think it is, and I'm running around the airplane just in shorts, no shoes, and a T-shirt, and making contacts, talking to people with suits on. All right, and I looked at it this way: those guys would like to be able to be where I'm at, and for some reason, since I thought that way, so did they. All right. When I make a contact in a bathing suit, it's because of the fact that what I'm trying to offer them is a chance to be in the same position. And when I'm in a suit and they're wearing whatever they're wearing, it doesn't, see, in other words, what I'm trying to say to you, no matter how you appear, don't let some Dexter Yeager walk by you that can build an organization of hundreds of thousands of people just because you're not dressed right, or you didn't shave this morning, or you don't have your glasses on, your hair isn't combed right. That doesn't make any difference. All right? All I do is I make the eye contact, smile, say hi. All right? And you want to have fun with this? I mean, it gets to be fun after a while. Human beings are really strange animals. All right? We think, and that's probably our biggest challenge, is the fact that we've got brains and we go and we think too much. Walk down a mall or walk down a busy street sometime and make eye contact with somebody, smile at them, and stop. It will blow them away. They don't know. They don't know what to do with that. I think if they could beam themselves up to a spaceship, they would. They don't know if you're an old friend of theirs, a new friend of theirs, their boss's friend or something. They don't know who you are, and so they stop too, and they go, "Hi, do I know you? I don't know. My name's Bert Gulick. How do you do?" All right. Try it. It's amazing what people will do. You see, people, if you just observe people, I think that's been my biggest advantage in the business is I love to observe people. And I'm from New York, and there's a lot of people that are worth observing out there. I mean, they're really strange. But you watch people, most people walk, and they look off in space, they look around. They don't look at other people. They don't look. They just kind of go along. And when somebody makes eye contact with them, they don't know what to do with that. And then when they smile, all right, do I know this person? All right, maybe he's smiling at somebody else. And then when you stop and look at him and just smile at him, you watch. I mean, you got somebody that's walking right at you, right? Or just maybe a little bit off to the side, and you're walking along, you smile at him, and stop. And just keep watching. Now, what are they going to do? All right? I mean, that's what gets to be fun, okay? I mean, you don't even have to bring up the business if you don't want to bring up. Just try that tomorrow, Just stop and smile at somebody. And there's your posture, okay? So often we're afraid about what other people are thinking about us. This guy's thinking this guy is a real nut, all right? Either that or he's one of my friends and I don't recognize him. And, it doesn't make any difference what he thinks. That's not the concern. So many people are so worried about what other people think they never do anything with their lives. They're so afraid that they're going to upset somebody over here or they're going to concern somebody over here, and so they stay in their little container in their little box and they go through and exist for some 60 or 70 years and they never do anything not because they can't, not because they don't have the potential inside them. It's because they're afraid of what other people are thinking. All right? And if you can get past that, you just realize it. Just realize that everybody else there has got the same fear. Do you realize through every survey that's ever been done, the number one fear in the United States is what other people think? Okay? Over snakes and falling and fires and everything else. People make lists of what they're afraid of, and they're afraid of other people and what they think. All right? Why? Because we want to be accepted. We want people to like us. And so to make people like us, we don't do anything. The very shy person who goes to a party and nobody even knew he was there or she was there, all right, is trying to make everybody like them, but they don't want to do anything wrong. They don't want to say the wrong words and they don't want to do the wrong things. So they just come to a party and they just sit there and hope that people like them. Then you get the exact opposite. All right, the exact opposite is the guy that comes to a party and you wish he wasn't there. Hi, how you doing? Bang on the back of the back. You ever had those guys? Oh man, and they're all excited, got their jokes and everything else, and it just seems like a bull came through the room, And most guys, you get a guy that does that, and you get three guys over here going, isn't that guy obnoxious? Boy, is he obnoxious. All right? They wish they could be more outgoing. Not quite as outgoing as he is, but they're jealous of the fact that this guy's willing to open his mouth and say something, but his self-image is not good either. He's trying to overpower people and make them like him. All right? The key to having other people like you is to like them and take a genuine concern in them. It's the same thing in contacting. If you decide to dedicate the rest of your life to other people and helping other people get the things they want, you can have anything that you want. All right? That's the law. If you give, you'll get. So if you'll start with that and just start handing out smiles. Guy doesn't have a smile, give him one. All right? Now, in these different approaches, pick. I don't know if you can decide just from sitting here tonight which one that you would like to try. Maybe you should try out all three of them. And some of the guys use all three. But they're very simple. All right? Just talking to somebody and getting their name, calling them back in a couple days or the same day, according to your schedule. Calling them 6 months from now doesn't make any difference. Name and call later. First person, bring up your business. Be proud of your business. You're in the business of supply and service. Be proud of it. Very often we don't let people know. And if nothing else, do you realize if you stood on a corner and the name of this business and the way you expand it is exposure. If you stood on a corner in downtown Des Moines day after day after day from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night and saying to people, hi, my name is Bert Gulick, I'm an Amway distributor, I'm looking for somebody who'd like to make some money. You will find people that will say, well, I'd like to know more about that. All right? Now, I don't recommend it. It's not exactly what I call a professional approach. But you will find that if you will offer yourself out and say, hey, I've got something you might want to enough people, you'll find some people that come forward. That's just like getting and opening up the phone book, starting with A. By the time you call the whole Des Moines phone book, you would be a very profitable distributor. Just call them up, say, listen, you don't know me, I'm an Amway distributor, I'm expanding my business, and I thought I'd give you a call to see if you'd like to make some more money. All right? Now, I don't recommend that. What I'm saying is if that would work, by becoming a little bit more professional, I think that you can find some exciting things happening in your business. Now, let's take and go over to some application, maybe some examples. All right, let's take, I'm going to work mostly with the third-person approach because that's the one I do best. Where do you find these people? All right, now like we said before, wherever people are at. So the first thing you need to do is get out of your house. You will have a very tough time contacting in your home. Okay? I know some of you have been trying it now for the last 6 months to a year, and you found that there are very few people you can contact in your home. So get out of your house. If you're single, you've got no excuse. You should be out every single night. You should come home from work, take a shower, and go right back out the door. Preferably to do a meeting, but on the way to a meeting, meet people. Now, one thing that you'll find other people doing is the same thing you're doing, is dream building. Isn't the Des Moines Parade of Homes going to start here pretty soon? What's the dates on that? 6th through the 14th, okay? And if you're not from Des Moines, you can come to Des Moines, but you can check in your area, and you'll find that there are open houses every weekend. There are probably open houses almost every day. And people are going out and looking at those homes. When they have those homes open and they have the parade of homes, people are going to flock in. Why? What are they doing? Dreaming. All right? They're not ready to buy a house necessarily. They're thinking about it. They'd like to buy a house. They're dreaming ahead. You'll see young couples there that can hardly affording the payments on their apartment, let alone buy a beautiful home. And here's a perfect place. All right? You can talk to people, and I'll tell you what, some of you, now, we have realtors in the room. They're probably, I've been known before to put on a white shirt and a tie and go out to look at these homes, all right, and hand out my business card. And they think I'm a realtor. All right? I talk to them, ask them all about their home, what they're looking for, when they're planning on buying, what's keeping them from buying now. I have a great time with it. I used to do it up in Ames all the time. All right? I'd be standing there, and I'd watch to see, open houses where I usually did it. I mean, the realtor would go in another room, be talking to somebody. I'm in talking to some other people, introduce myself, and they naturally just thought I was the realtor. All right? And Terry and I even did it one time. We were having some kind of contacting contest, and we even did it one time where she was in one house and I was in another one. Both of us were dressed up. We got a pile of names. All right? That's where people go. All right? You ever go down to a car dealership? I was up in Ames one time at the Lincoln dealership, and a guy came in, and I was waiting to talk to a distributor. And I was also I wanted to take a look at a Lincoln. But I'm sitting up there, and didn't have a tie on. I was nicely dressed, and I was leaning up against the car. This guy came in, and he went over and he looked at one of these new Datsuns, and I was on the other side of the car from him. He looked over the top of that and says, "That's an expensive car." And I said, "It's all relative." Okay. And so he came around and he said, "Boy," he says, "you can get a lot of," he says, "you can buy a whole van for the price of that Datsun." And I said, "Yeah, I guess you're so." I said, "Are you interested in buying a van?" He says, "Yeah, that's what I came in here for." And I said, "Well, here, maybe I can help you." And I had my van outside. I figured, what the heck, if the guy's going to buy a van, he might as well buy mine, right? Okay? I was talking to him about it and everything, and finally one of the guys came out and spotted me. He came right over and said, "He's not with us," But see, I'm always trying to serve. The guy wanted to buy a van, I was going to sell him mine. I had the best one on the lot. Okay? So go where people buy things. All right? Now, I hesitate in talking about this because I don't want any of you getting into mall walking. And mall walking is when you get dressed up in a suit and you go down to the local mall and you walk up and down the mall trying to find prospects. That is not fun. And it also doesn't. I've gone to malls for a whole day before and not gotten one name. I've come home and said to Terry, "I didn't see anybody." She said, "There was nobody in the mall all day long?" I said, "No, there was nobody in the mall all day long." Now, I meant that there wasn't anybody that looked like was sucker enough to talk to me. And she meant, she thought physical bodies. There was a difference in what we were talking about. But when I go to the mall, the only time I go to the mall is to buy something or look at something, not to prospect for people. All right? Because then I get there and I'm all uptight. And very often I'll go into a stereo store or a music shop or a clothing store or a cheese shop. I go into all kinds of places looking for things I came there to buy. Now, there's sometimes I'm just dream building for myself. I'm just going and looking at things so I can describe them better. But I'm still not going to look for people. People come into my life. All right? They come into my life because I'm always open and I'm always where people are at. They don't come into my life because I go to them and make them come into my life. All right? I don't stand in the middle of a mall and watch people walk by with my suit on. All right? Do one of these things. I can tell. You can spot an Amway distributor down in the mall. He's always got a three-piece suit on a hot day. Okay? And he's always looking at everybody with one of these eyes. All right? And he never talks to anybody. That's an Amway distributor at a mall, prospecting. Okay? Some of you caught the end of that. Now, wherever you go to do something for yourself. This is like, for example, how many of you have gone down and looked at the new incentive cars, the different dealerships, okay? The New Yorkers okay? You all should be going. My goodness, this should be a goal of yours. You got to pick out which car. When you hit the 10,000 points, they got a question for you. Which one do you want? You haven't been down there yet. You don't know. I'll also tell you something else. You don't go down and start looking at them, you will probably never hit 10,000 points. All right? Not even you could say, well, I could care less about the car. Well, how are you going to build an organization and dream build if you don't know anything about the car? You can't come back to your people and describe it to them, get them interested in it so they'll get the car. You help enough other people get those cars, you can have any car you want. All right? You don't like theirs, go out and buy one other. All right? Or two others, or three others. So you should be going down and look at the cars, especially the incentive cars. You should be down there on a regular basis. In other words, what I'm saying is you should be out. Now, I said before, single people, you don't have an excuse. Married people, you don't have an excuse either. All right? Put your kids in the car and go. They'll love it. A lot of times people talk to me about, well, I don't want this business to take away from my kids. Great. Put your kids in the car and take them out every night. All right? Where can you take them? Adventureland. Is there people at Adventureland? Go to Adventureland. Stand on the line for a ride. All right? Now, for those of you that have queasy stomachs, I don't recommend the bigger rides, but we do that. We take Becky out. Becky's a good contactor. You should watch her today. I was absolutely amazed. And it's so exciting to be able to see the duplication. Becky was in this little boat thing, and she's floating, and I'm trying to get her to go past where her feet can touch. So I'm out in the water a little bit. And people would walk by her, and every single person that walked by her, she said hi. And she amazed this woman so much that she almost fell in the water. Okay? Becky's just sitting there, and I'm talking back and forth, and this lady just starts coming by her, and she looks up and says, hi! And the lady looks down and says, hi. And she does one of these things, and she's kind of walking backwards into the water. And I was so proud of her. But did she pick that up by herself? No. Whenever she's with her daddy's saying hi to everybody. She just thinks that's natural. All right? If your kids are shy and backward, you think that's a reflection of you? You know it is, isn't it? You want to be able to go out and take your kids and just say hi. All right? Your kids are excellent contactors. All right? I mean, they go out and they're so cute, and they say hi, and you say, oh, excuse me, and you look down and you say to them, do you have any children? I mean, kids are a natural bridge. And I'm always looking for, I've held babies on airplanes and everything else. Kids are really great if you got them. Okay? Go out with your kids, and they'll enjoy it. You can give them some really good quality time if you'll go out to be with your children, not to go out to contact. All right? Now remember that. You never go out to prospect. You go out to live life. And as you meet people, you open yourself up. Give them a smile, give them some eye contact, and carry on a conversation with them. And either get their name and call them later, use a first-person's business approach or a third-person business approach. All right? And not everybody you see you will contact. Don't even think about it. Don't put it in the front of your mind. I think the biggest challenge some of you have is the fact that when you're talking to somebody right away, you think, I got to contact this guy, or I got to say it right. I remember I was out with one distributor. I'd just gone through and talked to him about, they had to add names to the list, and she said, okay. And so we went up to the counter to pay the check, and the gal said, did you enjoy yourselves? Oh, yes. And she says, are you business people? And this girl, it's like somebody had wound up a motor mouth. You ever see those teeth that go like this? And within 30 seconds, she did about 3 minutes worth of contacting. Okay, I mean, she just went like this, and the lady she went back almost up against the wall. All right, why? Because in the front of her mind, she wasn't interested in who this person was, or what their interests were, or making a friend, or smiling, or anything. All she wanted to do was contact them. And so she came across with every line that I had mentioned in the conversation, all in one shot. All right, the person was obviously backing off and not interested. We talk about stepping back and putting our hand up. She had both her hands up by the time we were done. So, if I got that point across, you go out to live life. And as you meet people, you open yourself up to them. And if they have a need, something they want to have, or something they're dissatisfied with, in our business, we can help them. Gals is the same thing. I think it's a little bit simpler for the gals to contact because they don't have to answer any questions. They can just say, well, my husband is in business. Let me give you his card, and matter of fact, I'll give you 2 cards. You put your name on it, and I'll talk to him and see if I can get him to call you. Okay? And I say, well, what's it all about? And you say, well, I'm not really at liberty to talk about my husband's business. I think maybe it'd be better if you talk to him because I really don't know how to explain or what you would be doing with him. Okay? Now, some of you who are can blink your eyes a little bit and say, gee, I don't know what my husband does. Now, if you can get away with that, that's great. Sherry Meadows can get away with that. Terry tried that one time, and the guy said to her, you're married to a man, he's in business, and you don't know what he does? And she said, and then she tried to bat her eyes and said, well, and he said, I don't think I'd be interested. So that was the last time Terry used the old bat of the eye, I don't know what he does trick, okay? I just, you have to apply it to your personality. I think that'll help a lot. All right, now here's some other hints that will help. Something that I do, something you can get in practice with, that you can apply everything I've talked about. There's approximately 25,000 people in service-oriented or sales positions in the city of Des Moines. Okay, and in every one of the towns that you live in, there are people who operate stores or in the retail business. From everything from grocery stores to clothing stores to car dealerships to whatever, okay? Now, I spend a lot of time going into these stores, and I have a lot more time, I realize, than some of you, but I was doing that even when I was working at Shakey's, and and there I had less time than you have now. What I would do is I would go around and I would make friends with people in stores. Two reasons. One reason was obviously the business. The second reason is when somebody in a store knows you, and you're a friend, and they can call you by name, and you call them by name, they always give you special service. And so you should know everybody you deal with. You should make it a point. So I would go into a Quick Trip. I'd stop in, and if they weren't busy, now if he was busy, I wouldn't do this, but if there's nobody around, I would buy whatever I went in there for, and I'd say to him, and I'd start talking to him. And usually in the summer, my biggest reason for not going back out again, I say, I think I'll stay in here for a couple minutes. Do you have any pop? And they'll say, yes, it's over there. And I go and get it, and I come back and I open it up. I said, I think I'll just kind of cool off in here. And I start talking to the guy. How long have you been working here? And I start a conversation. In that conversation, I will start leading to, and I'll usually ask the question, I bet you make some pretty good money here. And he'll say, well, no. And I said, does that mean you're looking? And they'll say, yeah, I guess I am looking. I say, I am too. I'll tell you what, I'm in here every once in a while. If you ever find anything good, let me know. And if I ever find anything good, I'll let you know. Now, another way of doing that, same thing, except I talk about business. I'll go in and I'll be talking to the guy. I say, do you own the place? And say, no. And I say, oh, really? I said, would you like to own a place like this? I say, yeah. I said, so would I. I say, I'll tell you what, if you ever find a way to get in on one of these things, and it maybe needs some money or some time put in, why don't you let me know? And if I ever find a way to get into business, I'll let you know. Hey, as a matter of fact, and then I stop and I say, if you find any kind of business to get into, let me know. Okay? And then I just drop it. Now, if I left it right there, the guy would say, this guy, real friendly, he's looking for a business, and he wouldn't think that much more about it. But every time I pass that neighborhood, I go in. I have bought a lot of candy in my life. Okay, because I use this system. I go in, I stop in, and I when I'm driving by, I look and see the number of cars out front. If there's one or two cars or no cars, I pull in, I run in, get a can of pop or some candy or a bag of potato chips or something small. It doesn't have to be anything big. And I go up to the counter and I say, hi, John, how you doing? I said, remember me? I'm Bert. Yeah, have you found anything yet? Remember we were talking about business the other day or talking about sources of income? Did you find anything yet? No, yeah, me neither. And I pay for it and I leave. Okay? I might do that for a year. But every time I come in, after a while, he starts asking me. I'll come through the door, and I'll be running right back to the pop machine, and he'll say, hey, did you find anything yet? Nope, I haven't found anything yet. How about you? Nope. Okay, pay for it, go out the door. Right now, I'm doing this in at least 20 places here in Des Moines. Right? I'm doing this not only in Quick Trips, I'm doing it in clothing stores. I do it wherever there's somebody standing around. And I've carried on the conversation. Now, watch what happens. If I have a cancellation or an open night come up, I can run into the Quick Trip and say to the person, I don't even have to buy anything this time. I can run to the door, open the door, and say, hey, John, I found it. What time do you get off tonight? And he'll tell me, I'll be here and pick you up. We'll go out and get some coffee. You won't even believe this. All right, can we go out tonight? Yeah, good. Close the door. I run out. I'm gone. Whatever time he gets off, I'm right there. And there's my meeting. Okay? And if he says, I'm busy tonight, sometimes I'll come in through the door and say, you do anything tonight? No? Great. I found it. I'll be here at 5 o'clock. Just like that. Now, if you don't set that up, that'll never happen. All right? But I've done that. My dad does. Now, here's another thing. You can go all kinds of different ideas. My dad, every place he goes, he carries, 50, 75, 100 cards with him. Every place he goes to a restaurant, he sits down, and while he's eating, he's looking around. He looks for the most ambitious, hardest working person in the restaurant. Might be the manager, it might be the cashier, it might be a busboy, it might be a waiter. He doesn't know. He's just looking. He picks the person out because he wants to be able to say the truth. If he picked out somebody who was really lazy and said, "Hey, you're really ambitious," he would be lying. He wants the most ambitious person. When he's ready to leave, he's paid for the meal. He walks back and he says, "The busboy that was running around here, could you get him for me?" And the busboy comes out and says, "I don't know if you're looking. I can't talk to you now. Besides, you're under somebody else's. You're working for somebody else. Here's my card. If you're looking for more money, why don't you give me a call? I like the way you work tonight." All right? If the guy calls, the guy's looking. If the guy doesn't call, throws the card away, he's not looking. My dad does that every single day. All right? Loves to do it. All right? Everywhere he goes, he walks into a store, and there's 3 guys working with, in a clothing store, and 3 guys are working. One guy's a little bit more ambitious, a little bit more friendly. He does whatever he came in there for, buys whatever he came in to buy, takes a card out, walks over to the guy and says, "You don't know me. My name is Bert Gulick, and I happen to notice while I'm here in the store that you're really ambitious. I don't know if you make as much as these other guys or make more, but I'll tell you what, if you're looking to make more money, why don't you give me a call?" Walks out the door. Now, you got to have a business card to do that. And he does that. And he finds, now, if you decide to start doing that, you need to remember that your phone is always answered with a business greeting, okay? I mean, like, for example, at our home, Becky answers the phone. It would not go over real good, all right? Though it could work, it would be better that, and see, Terry, whenever we've done that, Terry is always the secretary. She answers the phone, International Business Services, and the person says, "Well, is Bert Gulick there?" And she'll say, "Yes, just a minute." Or if I'm not there, she'll say, "No, he isn't. Can I take your name and phone number? He'll call you when he returns." All right? And so if I'm there, I get on the phone and I say hi, and he said, "Well, you talked to me the other day. I'm in the such and such a store or whatever." And I said, "Oh, right, yeah. How you doing?" And he'd say, "Well, I'm calling you like you said." And I say, "Well, great. Listen, I'll tell you what. Rather than talk over the phone, why don't you and I get together? I'd like to get to know you a little bit better, and I can talk to you about what I've got in mind and see if it'll interest you." It's just that simple. All right? What we do in this business is we complicate things. Has anything been tough tonight? No. It's all been very simple. Now, what you have to do is you have to practice with it. All right? This will not be, I can rattle this off. Why? Because I've been doing it for 8 years. I do it every day. It's second nature to me. It's like, when you first get on a bicycle, it's all awkward. You can never figure out how a person can ride a bicycle. You've got 2 wheels, and it goes back and forth, and it leans, and of course, if your parents are with you, they're helping, they're pushing along, and they're trying to get you to pedal, and you're trying to figure out how to pedal and hold the bars and get your fanny in the right spot and everything else. All at the same time, you think, this would be impossible. All right? But pretty soon, it's not so awkward. You get in the bike to move a little bit. Then the next thing you know, you're riding along with no hands. Why? Because you practiced. You ever had a kid sit down and learn how to play piano? They first sit down, it is really hard on the ears. They don't know how to put anything together. But with practice and taking the basics and practicing them over and over again, pretty soon there's a song that develops. And if they keep practicing and keep working with it, a bigger and harder and better song comes together. And then pretty soon they play beautiful music, and you wonder, they make it always look so easy. Why? Because they've practiced and they've gone through the awkward moments. Your business will depend upon whether you prospect or not. Your wealth and your future will depend upon whether you can meet other people or not. I don't care whether it's in the Amway business or whatever you do. People in this world, the highest paid people in this world, are paid because they can deal with other people. And that's why only 5% of the people ever make big money. And it's the same thing in Amway. 95% of the people that get in Amway make some money. All the people in Amway that do anything make some money. But only 5% make big money in Amway. And I have no bones about telling you that. And the only difference is the people who make the big money in Amway, just like in any other business, are the people who can deal with other people, who can put their fears aside and realize that everybody else is afraid too. And if they will open up their selves, if they will open themselves up and be looking to help and serve other people, they can contact and they can show the plan and they can follow up and they can help and develop people into direct distributorship and develop whatever level in the business they want to develop. But it comes back to the fact you've got to be able to deal with other people. And that takes practice and just using simple basics.